Hi everyone, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at, and I'll show you how to install the CURT custom fit trailer hitch receiver on our 2024 Subaru Ascent. Subarus are known as adventure cars and they're really practical camping cars, but it's always nice to be able to add some extra storage onto the back of it, and adding a hitch like this allows you to do that. You can hook up any accessory you would want, like a bike rack or a cargo carrier, and you can also do some light duty towing with it. Remember, if you're planning on doing any kind of towing, then you'll also need to add trailer wiring just to stay safe and legal out there on the road. And another thing that I like about the way this CURT hitch installs is that with this panel that comes from the factory, when you're not using the hitch, you can just pop it into place, and then the hitch is gone. You got that nice clean factory look. One thing to think about is with this plastic panel here, it is quite loose. It comes from the factory with these push pin fasteners installed up into a hole there and then there, and that'll keep it nice and tight. I wouldn't recommend driving without those installed, so you will have to keep a flathead screwdriver or a trim panel tool, something to remove those when you do want to take that cover off. But I'll pop the cover back off, say you're ready to tow. It's just a matter of pulling it out and storing it. While that's off, here's a closer look at our hitch. Once we have that cover off, you can see the cross tubes, but you'll have it hooked up to an accessory or something like that. We have a nice gloss black finish and a 2" by 2" receiver opening. That's going to be standard for most of your accessories. Behind that, also a standard 5/8" pinhole. The pin and clip are not included with the hitch. However, we have many options available here at eTrailer. Also, any accessory that you add on will most likely come with one included. And then up above that, kind of tucked away, is our safety cable loops. They're kind of hard to get to. That way, I'd recommend just coming from the bottom if you have a large clevis like this. And same thing goes for our S style here. You could slip this up top or on the bottom. With the way this hitch installs, it does sit up higher than some of your other options that will actually hang below the bumper. So I'll just get a measurement for our ground clearance. We're sitting at just about 22 3/4, so it is pretty high for such a small car. Then from the center of our pinhole to the edge of our bumper is only 2 inches. You want to keep that in mind for any folding accessory that you might add on to ensure it does make contact with the vehicle. As for the weight capacities with this hitch, we have a gross trailer weight of 5,000 pounds. That's the amount of weight that you can pull behind the vehicle. And then a maximum tongue weight of 750 pounds. That's the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. You do have the option to use weight distribution with this hitch. However, those numbers will stay the same. And then also always be sure to double check your Subaru's owner's manual to ensure that your Ascent can handle that weight safely. All in all, if you're looking to add a hitch to your Subaru and you're looking to retain that factory look with that plastic cover, and I think it's a plus to have that extra added ground clearance with it sitting up high, you really can't go wrong with the CURT. As for the installation, you do have to remove the fascia since it sits back behind it and your bumper. So if it's not something that you're looking to do yourself, maybe you don't have the time, the space, or the tools to do so, feel free to check out our dealer locator. If you have installed this yourself and you just want to share some tips or tricks, or maybe you just want to share some photos of what you're using your hitch for, please feel free to leave a review or a comment. But if you're looking to see how this gets installed, then just follow along and I'll walk you through it. We'll begin our installation underneath the vehicle. We have quite a few push pin fasteners to remove. You could use a tool like this if you have it, or just a flathead screwdriver. We would just want to pop out the center piece, get up under it, and then the entire thing should come out. So I'll just work my way down the line. So you may have splash guards here. There's just a couple screws holding them on and then a push pin, and then you can pull it out and set it aside. We actually don't have them. So the last push pin fastener that we need to remove is up here on our fender. And we'll just pop the center out and get that pulled out. Now we'll open up our hatch and take this plastic panel off. It should just pop off pretty easy for you. Just work it around the edges. You don't want to bend it too much to break it. Set that aside. And Behind that, we have this 10mm screw holding our fascia up. We'll get that removed. Then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now with an extra set of hands, we can get our fascia popped off. We'll just start on the outside, pull straight out. It's just clips holding it in from this point. We'll work our way towards the middle. Once we get to the middle, it might help to kind of work it from the bottom. Then we don't want to pull it out too far because we just need to check for any wiring that may be attached. We actually have one right here. So this will be a tab that we'll push down on. And then we'll pull the plug out. And we can set this aside. Before we can remove our bumper beam, we'll need to unclip our wiring harnesses. There's going to be one on this side. We can just use that trim panel tool, get that popped out. We'll be relocating these later. Same thing on this one. Now we'll take a 17mm socket and get all 4 of our bolts and nuts removed on each side. Before I move on to the other side, I'm just going to loosely thread this nut on, just so when we get all the other hardware removed, it won't fall off on us. Then we'll set that aside. With the bumper removed, we need to bend these tabs inwards on both sides. Just a couple taps of a hammer. It'll move pretty easy. Now we'll take our hitch, slide it into place over those studs, and reinstall our nuts. We will be using the factory nuts, but we have new bolts for the other 3 holes. For all of our bolts, we'll have a conical tooth washer with the teeth facing the hitch so they bite down. So we'll get those hand tight now. Now we'll tighten all that hardware down with our 17mm socket. Now for this sensor and then the other wiring harness, you'll see a little slot and a hole next to it. Just drop that out into the slot, and it's a little bit loose, so the kit includes some zip ties, so we'll just run a zip tie around this and then bring it through that hole. That'll keep it tied down so we don't have to worry about it falling off. Now we'll take a torque wrench and torque our hardware down to the specifications listed in the instructions. So we reinstalled the fascia, just the reverse of how we took it off. And then if you're wondering how to access your hitch when you need it, it's just 2 push pin fasteners underneath here. And then this panel will pop out and give you access to the hitch. Right there. Otherwise, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the CURT Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2024 Subaru Ascent.